is interested or not, and that's how we'll do it. And hopefully, as I say, we'll get as many right as we possibly can.
You've touched on this. It feels like you've got many more options as we head in towards this September batch of games.
Yeah, we are certainly getting closer. We've just still got a few little issues going into this weekend, but we're certainly getting there. I was really pleased getting Edmondson back out on the grass, getting Moxon out, Feeney back out on the grass. That's good for us. It was good to see Ben Barclay the other night. He came to the game. He's spent a couple of weeks at Stockport because he's been in a boot, so it's been difficult for him. He's not been able to drive, so he went back home. It was good to see him the other night, and he's getting there. Not only has he been injured, but he had a bit of an illness as well, so he missed a few days of going in for treatment. So we're getting there. We're starting to see a few what do they call them, shoots of recovery. So we're getting there. We've just got to keep going.
That bug that you mentioned, I know Jack was the latest to be affected by that. Have we got rid of that?
Well, it seems so. Jack's been in and trained and he's fine, so I'm hoping that that's the end of it. I'm also asking about what players are doing in preparation for games, what sort of things they're drinking, what are these energy shots they're taking. I'm trying to get to the bottom of all of these things, and I'm not saying that they are to blame. We've got to try and ask all the questions and come up with the answer, or try and come up with an answer. So we'll see what this weekend, how everybody is this weekend, how everybody is on Friday when we train, and hopefully everybody will be okay.
The likes of Morgan, Mox, Edmo, the ones who are various stages of being back, some of them have had 90 minutes, to be fair to say. When do you go through the decision-making process of whether they start for you on Saturday?
Probably after Tuesday night, to be honest with you, after the game finished. Yeah, it's I get a report from Ross, the physio, as to who's reported anything. There was nothing reported on Tuesday night. I then get a follow up on the following day as where they all are, and then we then reassess again today with sort of levels of fatigue that they're at. But my mind was already starting on, and after Tuesday night I already had it in my mind what Saturday's team would be if everybody was fit and available as I thought. As it is, I've come in on Thursday and there's a few little setbacks, so we'll give it, well, I will give it to Friday morning. If they're not fit to train on Friday morning, then they're not fit to start, in my opinion, because I like to name the team on Friday. I like to do our final bit of preparation on Friday so that they go home and they know who's starting. The rest of them turn up on Saturday, and we name the finishers on Saturday so that everybody prepares properly. And we'll wait and see. I'll see when we come in on Friday morning what it's like and who is fit and available. So I know in my mind if everybody's fit what the team will be. I've also got an idea of what it will be if certain individuals are not right. So I already have a picture of it. It's getting to that point where I can confirm it.
I mean, I'm a big believer myself in not letting the opposition know what the setbacks might be. How frustrating is it, Paul, that there is this type of thing to deal with when you just want to be getting on with it?
No, again, it's something you'd rather not have, but it's just part and parcel of it. It's just part of the job. And years ago, I would have probably been pulling my hair out and not sleeping on a Thursday and a Friday night, but I do now because I just know that it's one of them things that you learn not to worry about what you haven't and can't have. You just get on with what you've got, and I think we've got a good group. I looked at the group who went out the other night, and they absolutely worked their socks off the other night. They smashed all of the physical numbers that we've been getting over the last few games. The total distance, the high intensity, the very high speed running. We smashed all of those numbers. So I know everybody's putting a shift in, and those guys who came in who were not been regular starters, that will have done them the world of good. So that competition, for me, people can think whatever they like. It's a valuable competition, really important in the way that we plan and how we get players up to match speed. So for me, let's stay in it as long as we can, and let's get some results.
How much did the disappointment of the result make you tear your hair out and lose sleep, or is it not a case of that? Is it more of let's review it and learn from it?
Yeah, I think there were so many good things out of the game. Unfortunately, the truth of it is you can talk about performance, but you get judged in both boxes, both 18-yard boxes, and we didn't do both 18-yard boxes brilliantly, particularly when we were attacking. And I've showed the players, and I've talked about today was about on another day it could have been, but it wasn't. So you can't be complacent thinking, well, on another day we'll be all right. We have to be better, and we have to make sure Saturday is the day that we go and create those chances and finish those chances. So we created a hell of a lot. We played some good football. We sort of slightly dominated possession in that we had the ball more than they did. So the work ethic's there. We've shown we can play the football. We have to finish things off though, and come this weekend against Rochdale, which will be a tough game because they'll have that enthusiasm that comes with a new manager. We have to be right, and we've got to go and make sure we're clinical.
Jim, such a wily campaigner, he did an unbelievable job at Morecambe. Difficult task at Fylde. He knows this division.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and I had a couple of conversations with him because my son Jake was working with him at Fylde, so he's a real top bloke as well, Jim. Really pleased he's back in. Yeah, he has got a tough job on because of the position that they're in. I must admit, I've watched a few of their games, and they don't strike me as a team who's going to finish bottom of the league. They strike me as a team who are in a little bit of a false position. And I've said this before, I don't believe that the league table sort of reflects where teams are until probably 10 or 12 games in. So they've still got quite a few to try and change that position, and we've got to make sure that in the next run of games that we're not dropping down the table, we're shooting up the table and still being positive.
I think you're right in saying they lost on penalties, but 3 goals in the second half, I think it was in the space of 7 minutes or whatever. Yeah. That wouldn't have done them any harm whatsoever.
No, it wouldn't. I watched the game back yesterday, and I've watched the Crawley game, and I mean, one of the goals is just like a comedy of errors, the third goal that they conceded at Accrington, and it probably just shows the things that go against you when it's not quite happening. That changes very quickly with the result and with the performance, and the fact they scored 3 goals won't have done them any harm at all, and good goals as well. So we know it's going to be a tough game. We know they've got players there who've played at a higher level, players who can perform better than they are doing at the moment, or they have been doing in the first run of games. We've just got to focus on what we can do and make sure that we're still positive, we're still working hard, we're still giving our supporters something to hang on to, and hopefully we can go and get goals to give us a result.
We've no idea of the situation down there, but does it shock the managers' union when somebody like Robbie loses the job after 4 league games?
I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I just accept the fact that I'm going to get the sack one day, and I'm sure Robbie went into it knowing that was the precarious side of it. And you look at the one with Scotty Parker this week as well. I always say, wow, I didn't expect that, but then I also think nothing ever surprises me in football anymore. So you accept it's the nature of the job. What you do is do everything you possibly can to make it come a long way further down the line than it has done for those fellas this season.
You keep mentioning the fans, they were brilliant. They're going to be brilliant again at the weekend. It's so important, this togetherness that you keep banging on about. Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, I was gobsmacked. I mean, fair play to them. It's turning up over 3,000 in the Papa John's is a brilliant crowd. I hope they're starting to realise that it's not a duff competition. It's actually a really good competition. I think it's a great opportunity for our supporters to see top young players coming through. I think it's a good opportunity for us to test ourselves against really good technical footballers, and that pace that they attack with, they are so quick, and it is another level, and it's great for us to see it and to test ourselves. So I think the fans turned up in numbers because they're starting to realise it's maybe not as bad as everybody wants to make out. It's a good competition where you've also got a really good opportunity to get to Wembley, and that's not a bad thing. As I've said before, I've been fortunate to get to a final on a couple of occasions, and it's a right good day out. Club have an opportunity of making money. The supporters all love it. You know, when Carlisle United have been there in the past, they've taken bucket loads, and coaches, trains, you name it, they've all travelled down in the numbers to go and have a right good day out in London. And we haven't done ourselves any favours with our first game, but I still think it was a hell of a game of football, and if you were a neutral watching it, you'd be really impressed. I was impressed as a manager on our side of it. I know that that the United staff were really pleased with it from their point of view. So, let's get behind it. Let's do what we can, and hopefully the supporters have realised it was good. They come back in on Saturday and give us their support like they have been.
Back-to-back league wins, that's exactly the kind of thing you want. You want this place to be a place where we get points.
We've got to make it really difficult. We know how difficult it is to travel away because of the journeys that we have to have. So we've got to make it horrible for teams to come here. Rochdale's not really a long journey for them, but we have to make it tough here. We can only do that with our performances, because our performances will make it difficult for the opposition. The performance will lift our own supporters, which will make it a tricky place. And last weekend Neil Harris made a point of saying how much the crowd affected our second half start, and hopefully we don't have to get them grumbling at half time. Hopefully they can be really positive, and we can use that to lift our performance and make us as good as possible.
Last one, Paul, we're all devastated Johnny Helping's retiring. Have you had the chance to dangle that carrot yet to keep him here?
No, I haven't. It's been a bit of a chaotic week, but we will get that chance. I will be sitting down with him. I don't, at this moment, it's really early for me to say what he's thinking, because I don't know the reasons. I don't know what his thought process is for it. He probably just wants to have a bit of quiet time and a bit of downtime, to be honest with you. But I just think good people like Halpy we have to keep in the football club, and I'll do what I can to see where he's at and see if we can change his mind to do something with us that keeps him involved.